And I want to start my talk with the name of Allah, El-Bedi, the originator, the innovative creator. I seek refuge with Allah from the accursed Satan, the originator of the heavens and the earth. When he decides on something, he just says to it, be. And it is. Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 170. It doesn't matter how clever or talented someone. Every innovation that we discover, or any innovation that the scientists discover, these ideas occur in the mind. They are only the reflection of something that we have seen before, or we have already known before, and Allah creates in our mind. And we will be inspired for everything only because we have seen or heard about them before. And even if they are imaginary, they are already come to our mind from somewhere. Even if they find out something, like artists do something, they also say that they dreamed about it, or they somehow imagined about it. And these are all the reflections of Allah's wisdom and Allah's power in the people's mind. And we can only perceive this world with 5 senses. We have 5 senses. And for example, I want to give you some examples of these senses, but also these senses are limited. The first one is the vision, as everyone knows. The electromagnetic spectrum is the things that the light travels, and the things that can be visible or invisible. And it is between the 10 to the power of minus 6 nanometers to 100 megameters. I want to show you a picture now. As you can see in the picture, it is a wide spectrum. But as you can see, there's a tiny place here. This tiny place is approximately 400 nanometers to 700 nanometers range, and this is the only way that we can see. This is the visible light. The others,
so narrow.
Yes, so narrow and so small. The others are the ones that we cannot see. And it is just like not smaller than 1 micrometer size in a very wide spectrum. And although we cannot see, only the visible light is so tiny, and we cannot see the other radiations. They have their own properties, and also they have their own benefits for the other animals or other creatures, but we cannot perceive them. But it is something that we should think about. Why are they created, although we cannot see them, although we cannot understand them or perceive them?
Yes.
It is a miracle, and it is something, a proof of creation.
And there is a beetle, the jewel beetle. This beetle can sense infrared color with its leg. It's a miracle, really. And also can sense a fire which is 50 miles away. How can a beetle with leg sense the infrared color and also the fire 50 miles away? We can only understand this kind of a fire maybe if it has a smoke over the clouds. But if to sense this fire with a leg, it's an amazing miracle of Allah.
And also it has a purpose.
Yes,
the fly don't recognize or perceive this infrared just for coincidence or random cause. It senses it because the burnt trees is a very good place for these flies to leave their eggs on. So as a result, Allah created them with this purpose. This is not something random. And our spectrum is, as we have told, very small, but Allah creates a wonderful world in it. We can see many colorful things. We can see the golden ratio and clouds and perfect views, and also very beautiful people in it, like you, my sisters.
MashaAllah.
MashaAllah.
And you.
And you, yes.
And our second sense is, hearing. And as human, again, there is a limit for us. There is a range, and we can only hear the sounds between 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz.
Yes.
And again, I want you to show another picture here. But some animals can see more than that, as you can see in the picture.
Music also is a great miracle for us and a big blessing from Allah.
Yes, and we can hear it in this range only.
Yes, of course.
And Allah is so merciful. That Allah creates perfect songs and different types of music, and everybody has a different type of music like. And we hear also Allah create us that we don't hear the sounds that can disturb us or hurt us. Like we don't hear our heartbeat all the time. We don't hear our body sounds, the liquids in our body, because it may hurt us. It may cause disturbance.
Very
to
disturbing.
us. Yes. And also we don't hear the sound of a walking ant. For example, we could hear that, but we are not. or the atoms that turns with a very high speed. You know, there are thousands of trillions of atoms around us, but we don't hear them turning at that much speed.
When we are near some street, we are very disturbed from the sound of the cars, right?
Yes.
But if we think about billions of little creatures that are living on Earth, if we hear their sounds, it will be unbearable for us to live in this world. So this is a great blessing from Allah that we heard only some ranges of sound.
Yes.
MashaAllah.
Actually, we can hear the walking of an ant as frequency, but decibel is low. There is a graph called equal loudness contour. Then according to that, we cannot hear all the frequencies between 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz equally. We can see on the picture also. We cannot hear all the frequencies with the equal loudness. It is impossible for a human to hear that. This prevents us for hurting our ears or makes us disturbed, as you talked about. And actually, a human cannot hear some of the ranges in the frequencies 20 to 20,000. For example, if we turn up on the volume, if we start to hear a sound with 20 Hertz from the speaker, actually we don't hear that, we feel it when you turn the volume up.
Like a pressure.
Yes, pressure. You don't hear with your ears. You just feel it. It is something very different.
Amazing, mashallah.
You hear also, but it doesn't feel like hearing.
Yeah.
Also, the frequencies above 16,000, it start to disturb person. So according to equal loudness contour, its decibel changes, the hearing of the human changes.
MashaAllah.
MashaAllah.
And also dogs can, for example, hear sounds from 67 Hertz to 45,000 Hertz.
Yes.
And that's why we cannot hear the dog whistle, for example. Or mouse can hear also the 1,000 Hertz to 91,000 Hertz.
Yes.
And a
MashaAllah,
mouse, baby mouse, cries at 40,000 Hertz, and it's above our hearing, so we don't hear it actually.
Yes, and I want to mention a research about the elephants. A group went to Africa for a research for elephants, and when they are sitting in the car, and in the car they had a glass of water. They start to see that a glass of water start to vibrate. Waves start to become on the water. So they understood that elephants communicate in 10 Hertz. They can only hear each other, but we cannot hear them. We can just see that wave as a wave on the water.
Yes.
MashaAllah.
In fact, as we know, there is no sound outside our brain.
Yes.
There are only waves.
Yes.
That is one of the proofs
Yes.
of
And
this.
sounds moves like waves. It is refraction and compression of the atoms. This
Yes.
is just the sound is this, and nothing more
Yes,
in
of course.
physics.
And our third sense, as you know, it is the taste. And we can sense 5 different tastes: salty, sour, bitter, sweet, and umami. It is the proteins, special for the proteins. But our taste buds are on our tongue. But for example, butterflies, they can taste with their feet. And this is something very amazing, because when they step on a leaf and stay for a while, and then they can understand the taste of the leaf, and if it is suitable for the eggs of the butterfly or for the caterpillar that will born from these eggs. And for these caterpillar to eat these leaves,
MashaAllah.
if it is useful for them. This is something very amazing. This is something that we could never imagine eating with our tasting with our legs. This is something impossible, and it might seem very how can I say, out of limit for us, but it is something that is created. Allah creates it in butterflies, and when we examine these butterflies, we see it as a very perfect miracle, because also these leaves are created for butterfly to taste, and also for caterpillars to eat, and for all the systems in the butterfly's leg are created to taste it.
Yes,
MashaAllah, this is the reflection of Allah's name, Al-Badi. MashaAllah. And I want to show you some pictures here of butterflies. They are so beautiful to see.
Yes. Also, catfishes have taste buds distributed over the surface of their entire body. They are like a huge piece of tongue. They have more than 250,000 taste buds covering all over their body.
And our fourth sense is the smell, you know. Like taste, Allah creates smell sense very wide in animals. And our smell sensories are positioned in our nose, at the back of our nose, close to our brain. And generally we can smell the scents when we are close to them or close to the source. But animals can sense the sum of scents which are miles away from the position when they are located. And even they can find their homes by just smelling it, or someone by just smelling the scent. And we have 5 to 10 million smell sensories, but dogs have at least 125 million sensory cells. Yes, more than us, too much. And also dogs have a special organ called Jacobson's organ, which lets them respond to some of the substances generally don't have a scent. How could it be possible? It is something very miraculous. They have a special organ in their brain that can respond to something, although we cannot understand if it has a scent or not. We cannot detect it, but these dogs are created with this organ. They can detect it. And the fifth sense is the touch, you know. And this is a very complicated sense. And our body is all surrounded with our sensory cells for the touch. You know, we can understand pressure, temperature, and any kind of things cold, hot. And also our body, inside of our body, there are some special somatosensory cells that can respond to our balance, our body's position, it can understand. And I want to show you another picture. As Sister Dilan mentioned about the catfish, it has a perfect taste perception, but also it has a perfect touch perception. It is very sensitive to the vibrations, and it is rumored that they are able to detect earthquakes in advance for days, before days. Also, sea cows can touch at a distance. What does it mean? How can you touch at a distance?
Yes.
When you get closer to something, you can touch it. But how can you touch it from a distance? Their entire body is covered with tactical hairs. It means that any vibration in the air or any temperature change in the air, they feel like touching it, even if it is too far away from them. This is something very miraculous for their body.
Yes.
And these facts are creation. These are the facts of creation. These are blessings from Allah, and we can understand that our senses and our lives are limited. And we can sense all the things, many things, but they are limited. But so why there are so much things more than we can sense? These are the things that we cannot ever imagine. These are the things that are created perfectly. These are the things that are created with wisdom. That we cannot reach this wisdom. It is beyond our perception. It is beyond our understanding, but it is perfect. This is very important. The people should understand that these systems, vision, hearing, touching, all the senses created in animals, they are not occur with evolution. This is nothing to do with random chance, because all of them are created together. When you examine the earth, when you examine the things in the earth, you see that they are matching with the things created in creatures, because they all have the communication, they all have the combination. The hearing needs sound waves, the seeing needs light rays, and all of them are created together, and it is nothing to do with the random chance. And I want to read a verse now. I seek refuge with Allah from the accursed Satan. Do they not look at the sky above them, how we have made it and adorned it, and there are no flaws in it, and the earth we have spread it out, and set thereon mountains standing firm, and produced therein every kind of beautiful growth in pairs, to be observed and commemorated by every devotee turning to Allah. From the Surah Kaf, verses 6 to 8.
Yes.